Welcome back to the IS Companion. In today's lecture, we will discuss center state relations. The Constitution of India, while federal in structure, establishes a unique system of governance that balances power between the center and the states. Unlike the division of legislative, executive, and financial powers, the judicial power remains integrated to enforce laws across all levels of governance. Maximum harmony and coordination between the center and states are crucial for the effective operation of the federal system. The Constitution contains elaborate provisions to regulate various dimensions of these relations. Three heads of center state relations. 1. Legislative relations. Articles 245 to 255 in Part 11 of the Constitution govern legislative relations. The distribution of legislative powers encompasses territorial extent, subjects parliamentary legislation, and centers control over state legislation. 2. Administrative relations. Administrative cooperation and coordination between the center and states are essential for smooth governance. Various constitutional provisions facilitate administrative cooperation to ensure effective governance. 3. Financial relations. Financial relations between the center and states are crucial for equitable distribution of resources and fiscal stability. The Constitution provides mechanisms for financial allocation, revenue sharing, and fiscal discipline. Legislative relations. The division of legislative powers is delineated between the center and states through territorial extent, distribution of subjects, parliamentary legislation, and centers' control over state legislation. Territorial extent of legislation. Parliament and state legislatures have defined territorial limits for lawmaking. Parliament's jurisdiction extends to the entire territory of India, including union territories and extraterritorial legislation. State legislatures have jurisdiction within their respective states, with exceptions outlined for certain territories. Distribution of legislative subjects. The Constitution delineates legislative subjects into Union List, State List, and Concurrent List. Each list specifies the exclusive or concurrent jurisdiction of Parliament and state legislatures over various subjects. Parliamentary legislation in state field. Parliament can legislate on state list subjects under extraordinary circumstances, such as national emergencies or international agreements. Specific provisions empower Parliament to enact laws on matters reserved by state legislatures or during President's rule. Centers control over state legislation. Constitutional provisions grant the center control over state legislation through measures such as gubernatorial reservation, presidential sanction, and direction during financial emergencies. The Constitution of India establishes a dynamic federal structure that balances powers between the center and states. By regulating legislative, administrative, and financial relations, it ensures effective governance and harmonious cooperation for the welfare of the nation. Administrative relations. Articles 256 to 263 in Part 11 of the Constitution delineate the administrative relations between the center and states, emphasizing cooperation and coordination. Distribution of executive powers. The executive power mirrors the distribution of legislative powers between the center and states, with exceptions. Center's executive power extends to Union List subjects and treaty obligations, while states have jurisdiction over state list subjects. Concurrent list subjects are primarily under state executive power, unless specified otherwise by the Constitution or Parliament. Obligations of states and the center. States must ensure compliance with Parliament's laws and not obstruct the center's executive power. Coercive measures, such as Article 365, empower the center to enforce compliance, leading to potential imposition of President's rule. Center's directions to states. Center can issue directives to states on specific matters like communication infrastructure, railway protection, linguistic minority education, and tribal welfare. Failure to comply may result in consequences under Article 365, including potential imposition of precedence rule. Mutual delegation of functions. While legislative powers cannot be delegated, executive functions can be mutually delegated to mitigate rigidity and deadlock. Parliament or the President can delegate executive functions to states, fostering administrative flexibility. Cooperation between center and states. Constitutional provisions, including interstate councils and adjudication mechanisms, promote cooperation and coordination on shared interests. All India services, despite centralization criticisms, ensure administrative uniformity and high standards across the nation. Public Service Commissions. Center-state relations in public service commissions entail shared responsibilities, including appointment and removal procedures. Joint state public service commissions and the role of Union Public Service Commission facilitate collaboration in recruitment and administration. Integrated Judicial System. India's integrated judicial system, with the Supreme Court and state high courts, ensures uniform application of laws across the country. Provision for common high courts and judicial appointments underlines the cohesive approach to justice administration. Relations during emergencies. National, state, or financial emergencies empower the center to issue executive directions or assume state functions. These measures ensure coordinated crisis management and preservation of constitutional integrity. Other provisions. Various constitutional provisions, such as Article 355 and gubernatorial roles, enable centers' oversight and intervention in state affairs. Extra-constitutional advisory bodies and conferences facilitate informal consultation and coordination between center and states. Financial relations. Allocation of taxing powers. The cornerstone of financial relations lies in the division of taxing powers. The Constitution delineates these powers thus. Exclusive powers. The Parliament and state legislatures hold exclusive authority to levy taxes on subjects enumerated in the Union and state lists respectively. The concurrent list, barring the exception made by the 101st Amendment Act for Goods and Services Tax, GST, lacks tax entries. Residuary power. Parliament retains the power to impose taxes not enumerated in any list, exemplified by taxes like gift tax, wealth tax, and expenditure tax. Restrictions on state taxing powers. States face limitations on their taxing authority. Professions tax. A state cannot exceed a 2,500 rupee annual levy on professions, trades, callings, or employments. Goods and services tax. State jurisdiction is prohibited on goods or services supplied outside the state or during import-export, with principles formulated by Parliament. Electricity tax. States can tax electricity consumption or sale but not if consumed or sold to the center or for railway purposes. Interstate river tax. Legislation on water or electricity from interstate river projects necessitates presidential assent. Distribution of tax revenues. Following the 80th and 101st Amendment Acts, tax revenue distribution witnessed significant changes. 80th Amendment. Based on the 10th Finance Commission's recommendations, 29% of certain central taxes are assigned to states since 1st April 1996. 101st Amendment. GST introduced concurrent taxing powers for GST, replacing multiple indirect taxes with a unified system. Categories of tax revenue distribution. The distribution of tax revenues encompasses various categories. Center-appropriated state taxes, stamp duties assigned to states directly. Center-assigned state taxes, taxes on interstate trade or commerce assigned to states. GST in interstate trade, levied by the center but divided based on parliamentary recommendations. Center-state distributed taxes covers union list taxes distributed as per presidential recommendations. Center-exclusive surcharges levied by Parliament without state involvement, exempting GST. State-exclusive taxes. States enjoy exclusive taxation rights over 18 subjects, including land revenue, agricultural income taxes, and duties on alcoholic liquors. Non-tax revenues. Both center and states derive non-tax revenues from varied sources, including sectors like posts, railways, irrigation, and forests. Grants in aid. Constitutional provisions include statutory and discretionary grants, aiming to financially assist states and promote national plans, with specific allocations for tribal and scheduled areas. GST Council and Finance Commission, instituted for GST administration and fiscal recommendations respectively. The GST Council advises on GST-related matters, while the Finance Commission balances fiscal federalism. Protection of states' interests. Parliamentary bills affecting state taxes or principles necessitate presidential recommendations to safeguard state interests. Borrowing powers. Both center and states can borrow within specified limits, with the center empowered to lend to states. Intergovernmental tax immunities. Constitutional provisions exempt central and state properties or incomes from each other's taxation, with exceptions during emergencies. Effects of emergencies. During national or financial emergencies, the President may modify revenue distributions or issue directives to states for financial propriety. In essence, the intricate web of financial relations between the center and states, governed by constitutional mandates and legislative frameworks, underscores the delicate balance of fiscal federalism in India.